Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for stopping back by the channel today here with the Rustbelt Mechanic. We have got the Can-Am XRC back in here to the garage today, doing some more parts upfits. It's still crappy weather here in Ohio. Spring has not broken yet, which gives us a little bit more time to get this thing ready for the good weather that's soon to come. So what are we doing today? If I haven't said before, we are eventually wanting to make this thing fully street legal around here. So not only am I able to beat this thing at 90 miles an hour through the fields, but I'm also able to drive it through town, pick up the boy and everything else that I needed to do. So it's going to be a fun process here in Ohio. It does have some requirements to be able to be street legal. It has to have mirrors, it has to have turn signals and lights, it has to have a windshield, it has to have a roof. So there's a couple of things that we're going to have to be adding to that today. The two main things that we're going to be doing today, we're going to be going into a little bit of detail, but not perfect 100% detail. I'll kind of point everything out, but it's going to go pretty well. We've got the power flip windshield, which is kind of new from Can-Am. Kind of excited about that one. I also have a lighting, turn signal and everything kit from XTC Power Products. Looking great on that one. Let's go ahead and get these things put in. So for our road legal kit, we ended up getting this one from XTC Power Products. You guys can see here's the tag on it where we got that one. ATS-CAN-X3 is the kit. A little bit pricey on the amount there, but this is pretty much one of the best road legal kits that you can get on the market. Also got the optional extra lit license plate for the rear because that also is a requirement in Ohio, so we got one of those. And then in the kit, we've got the wiring to make everything street legal on the Can-Am. We go over to it. It's going to end up making some turn signals up here in the front. And then in the rear, all of our lights and everything from Can-Am already, the brake lights and everything work normally, but we're going to be able to have these function as turn signals as well. So it'll all wire into pretty much what we have. It's going to be a pretty seamless kit from what I've kind of come to tell already by looking at the instructions. So really, if you haven't seen before where we are kind of at, we've got the passenger side seat out from the last installs that we've had because obviously you need to get to the power bus bar that's on the passenger side of the center console for power and everything. Also on this one, you're going to need to get to a power source up here up front. I will go into a little bit more detail on the switches, the placement, as well as we're going to be getting into our cluster here to put an indicator for the turn signal system on this one and go in depth on why I chose the XTC package over some of the other ones because it does have quite a few more little features to it. So I'm going to get into doing that one, kind of give you guys an overview as I go. Like I said, not going to be 100% detailed, but we're going to get cracking into this one. So step one in the process here, we have started with our harness, and there is the one plug that starts off on the left side of this little wiring area back here. You're going to unplug that. This is for your left rear turn signal. This is also a major split point in the harness, so that's what I'm going to like to start here. So at this point, there's going to tee off. This smaller wire is going to go over to the right turn signal, which is on the exact same spot on the right side. And then right here, you've got a couple of the wires here. This is going to be the power and ground for our license plate lights as well. Then at this point, all the rest of this main part of this harness is actually going to feed in through an opening right in here. We'll show it here in a minute. It's going to feed along this pillar, down in beside the seat, and then up to our kick panel in here where the driver's feet go. Another tip that I like to point out here, while doing all of these little upfits with all these different electrical connectors, yeah, I know some of these are weatherproof and everything, but I also like to use a little bit of dielectric grease in all these connectors because Ohio, corrosion, we don't want any of these things to fail later on down the road. So any wiring that you do, definitely recommend that you guys are going to use a little bit of dielectric grease in the connectors. Alright, we've got all of our wiring tucked along the channel up in here and have it actually run all the way up till it comes out where the kick panel was at for the driver's side. We have removed 130 Torx there and one down here. So over here to the bench, our nice SP Tools bench. We've got our kick panel here. Now, in their instructions, they want you to mount this little brain box right here on the inside portion, but this is going to be awful close to where the driver's feet touch. So what I am wanting to do is, you can see this notch right here. This is actually where the bars are going to be. So there's a V opening area from here through here, right in this area, in between a couple of the cage bars right there. So I want to mount that little box and everything. All these wires are going to have tons of room back here. I'm going to mount it to the back side. So we're going to have to drill one hole for the mount on this one. Kit does come with the hardware to be able to mount it. There is a bolt and a nut here in the package, so that's what we're going to be mounting it to, so we need to get our size. I've got a couple of step bits here. We're just going to be using our smallest one, this Step Kit from SP Tools. Pretty sweet little setup on these. Here's a picture of those little step drill bits, and then we're going to be using our SP Tools drill here. Part number on that one. Pretty sweet little chuck drill we're going to be using to drill some of our holes out on this one. Alright, so there we've got our panel. That's all you're going to see from the front side is the one nice little black screw, and then on the back we've got it mounted right there. All our wires are going up, which is, there's plenty of room up in that area to be able to work with the harnesses that we need to be able to tie everything up out of the way. That's where we're going to be hiding all of our extra harness stuff under the dash. We'll get some pictures of that obviously afterwards. So next, remounting this all up here, we're going to hook up our wiring from the rear, which is going to be right there, and then we're going to start in on the power wires. This one is going to be going up under the dash to our little power port up under the center console, and then to the wiring for the front on the turn signals and the horn. Alright, next on our list, we're going to be needing to hook up our switches. Now, in their instructions, they give you options to put them here both on the left-hand side. However, on the XRC model, you've got your winch already tied in over here, and I don't really want to be moving any of that stuff. I like where it's at. So, I like on a standard vehicle where your turn signals are going to be on the left-hand side, and thankfully, they give you plenty enough cable to be able to run these to different sides of your steering wheel. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting my turn signal switch right here, and then over here right beside the reverse override, I'm going to put the hazards and horn button right over into that one right there. Now here on this left hand side, there is an extra brown cable that's hanging out right here that we unclipped from a zip tie. That one, we're actually going to be running it into our cluster for an indicator on our turn signals. One awesome thing that this kit does offer. Well guys, midstream on this one, I'm a little defeated. As you can see, I've got the cluster out. I've got the connector out, trying to find out the XTC instructions on these. They do not match the new 2020 clusters. So if you guys are hoping to hook up that brown wire for the turn signal indicators, it is not possible via their instructions on here. I even looked up an owner's manual that has wiring diagrams, does not show it on this one, even though I'm pretty sure there's probably one of those pins in that connector probably goes to these turn signals, because as you can see in this cluster, there is left and right turn signals there. So that just shows me that something is possible to be able to do it. It just needs somebody to figure it out. So there is a couple of pins that aren't used here, but I'm not going to go and be the one to plug in 12 volts into some random pins that go into this cluster, because I don't really feel like burning up probably a $400 or $500 cluster. So that one is not going to get done. Sorry folks. Now the next harness that we're going to be having run here is going to be for the front end. It's going to be for the lights up here, and we're going to be running it in through the main grommet right here in the center of the vehicle. There was a zip tie holding that all together. Clip the zip tie and you're able to actually slide the electrical connector from the kit from the outside into the vehicle, into where it needs to go. Then we're going to be taking our harness, wrapping it in through the other harnesses, and we need to drill some holes for some turn signal indicators here on the front. In the kit, it says to put them right around in this area, shows that on the picture. We're going to be using the grommets that are on here because I think they make a nice clean look to it, because it'll function the orange into the black. So for that one, we need to drill 2 3/4 inch holes on this side and one on the other one as well. All right, we got the one side in. You can see where we've got it placed right there. And I'll tell you what, these step bits from SP Tools, they make working through this plastic stuff and doing the holes that I need, the sizes that I need right away, a breeze. I don't have to go switching through a bunch of bits. And these make really nice, clean holes. Pilots at a really small little bit there, so makes it pretty sweet for working on this. Alright, so now we're going to be installing our horn, also pretty simple. Look down into this area right here, and you can see right about there, there is a T, in here, the T right here for the front brake lines. So we're going to be taking that one screw out, and that is what is the bracket for our horn is going to mount to right there, and the harness and the electrical connector for that is in the front harness of this kit. So now we're on to the very last part of the install. We're almost there, guys, on the street legal kit. We are needing to install our license plate with the light in it because, again, that is required in the state of Ohio. Now, if you watched the previous video where I put a backup camera in, looks like these are going to be needing to go in the same place. So instead, what I'm doing is I've got a piece of steel off of a backing plate that I had from before. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be mounting this license plate bracket right onto here, and then the existing backup camera is going to be drilled some holes here to be able to mount to this plate and then mount into the rear of the Can-Am. Let's go back and have a look at it. And we can see where this one exists, and it mounts right into that area. And after a little bit more time than I thought, because of course lots of wires, zip tying everything up, it is all done. So we're here in the front, key is on in the machine, looking at the turn signals that we put into the front. And then let's cruise around to the rear, have a look back here, utilizing the brake lights on the machine. We've got the hazards turned on right now at the hazard switch, and then the nice LED lit license plate. Boy, that turned out pretty nice. That with the backup camera, they're all on that one bracket that we ended up making. Turned out pretty sweet looking. The only thing I'm not sure I really like yet is how close it is really under the exhaust, but we're just going to say later on in the future, the exhaust is not going to be coming out that hole. So that's why I'm not really all that worried about it yet. Now, as we hop into the console here, we've got our hazards and horn we put on this side. The hazards on this specific kit will stay on as long as you have that button pushed the one time. And you can see that the indicators on this side are flashing. We touch the hazard again, and they turn off. What's really cool that I liked about this kit is the turn signals are self-canceling. And I don't know how many times people in just regular vehicles don't know how to cancel their turn signals. Big pet peeve. So these ones are actually self-canceling. You tap it for 1 second, it's going to sit there and it's going to flash for, I believe, 5 to 10 seconds. See how long it lasts here. There it goes. And it self-canceled itself. If you hold it for longer, I believe it's going to hold for about double the time. There we go. That was about 30 seconds there. And then if you hold it for a couple seconds longer, it will hold for up to, I believe, 100 clicks, which is, you know, about a minute and a half or so if you're sitting at a really long light. So self-canceling on the time and the amount of seconds that you hold the turn signal switch. Then on this side, we got the horn all hooked up. Whoa, that thing is loud. That is pretty impressive for that little horn that we hooked up. Of course, it is pretty much just looking like car horn and everything. But all in all, everything hooked up pretty easily. With filming and all, obviously, everything usually takes a little bit longer than what we like to think for it. So we'll say somebody with a good set of tools and everything, a little bit of know-how of what you're doing ahead of time, and a whole bunch of zip ties and clips, you're going to be spending about 2.5, maybe 3 hours in putting this one and routing it just the way you like it. Make sure you guys take your time, put some dielectric grease in the connectors, and make sure everything is routed out of the way of everything that moves. All right, all in all, guys, that was a pretty simple process on this one. Like I said, it took a little bit longer than I was hoping, but again, with filming and all of that, it just, you know, obviously takes a little bit longer. Sucks that I couldn't make the indicators and the cluster work. Hopefully, I'm going to try to get with XTC, and I'm going to see about, you know, maybe in the future getting some kind of an adapter kit that will make the turn signal indicators work inside the cluster. I think that would be just something extra premium that would help and work for this kit. I will put a link also to this kit down in the description below to show you guys what I got on it. They do have a couple of other little extensions for it. They do have some switchbacks for the front little cat eyes that are on the front daytime running lamps to be able to turn on. When the turn signals turn on, they will actually flash amber and then go back to their normal white daytime running light section that they have. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that's like another 130 bucks, something like that. But again, I'll put those stuff down in the description below. If you guys have any questions about the products or the tools that I used today from SP Tools, make sure you guys give a comment. You guys could also message me on Instagram or email me at therustbeltmechanic@gmail.com. SP Tools, there's some pretty cool stuff, and they've been working really well on this project so far. Today you guys saw the drill. I've been using the 1/4 inch 12 volt cordless tools that they have, so those have worked great, and those step bits worked amazing for everything that I needed to. I don't need to go searching and hunting for a whole bunch of different bits throughout the project, so that was really cool to see. Big shout out also to Ride One Motorsports, who helped to get all of these parts rounded up together from Can-Am. They were the ones who I purchased the actual unit off of. Also, big shout out to them. We'll get a little glance of the banner up in here in Springfield, Ohio. So big shout out to those guys over in Springfield at Ride One Motorsports. Thank you again for helping to support the channel and everything that we do. If you guys like this content or content like it, make sure you subscribe, turn on that bell notification so you get notified when I come out with cool, awesome content just like this one today. I know we said that we were going to be putting in the power flip windshield, but I think the video is just a little bit too long for this one, so we will be putting that one off until the next video. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, you guys stay awesome.